Hello Pokemon trainers, welcome back to another Pokemon Scarlet and Violet Battle Stadium singles video here on iStarly TV. And this is part of my Pokemon Spotlight series. I haven't done one of these in a while, but I wanted to kind of show off a cool Pokemon that I've been using in Battle Stadium singles to pretty decent success. And it's something that not a lot of people expect, but it is actually very strong, so I think it's worth exploring for sure. And this is Eternatus. So let's just jump right into it. So like I do with this series, I'm not really talking too in-depth about Eternatus in general. I am specifically talking about one specific moveset that I like to use with Eternatus and making suggestions for that and kind of giving you the EVs and everything to do with it. And of course, you can kind of build your team around it and stuff like that. But Eternatus, like probably all of the restricted legends right now, is very, very strong, very versatile, and it really has a lot of things going for it. So there are a lot of different ways you could build Eternatus in Battle Stadium singles. This is just the way that I built it and that I've been using it, and it's been pretty strong. So this is, I guess you could say, like bulky offense Eternatus. And basically the goal here, well, Eternatus is one of the few Pokemon that has access to the move Meteor Beam. And so Meteor Beam is 120 base power. It's a special rock type move, which is okay. Like, that's not really the reason to use it, but what it does is it's a 2-turn move. On the first turn it charges up and it boosts your special attack by 1 stage, and then the second turn it fires off a move. It fires off the 120 base power rock type move. So effectively what's going on here is you get a special attack boost while also going for a really strong attack. And rock is pretty solid. It's pretty good on coverage. There's not too many Pokemon. If you look at like the most common Pokemon in the meta, there really aren't that many things that resist it. And you just get off massive damage. And so with the Power Herb item, it makes it so that moves that would take a turn to charge automatically go off in 1 turn. So basically with the Power Herb item, you fire off your Meteor Beam, you get the special attack boost and fire off the move all in 1 turn. And again, it lets you just do massive damage to things. And of course, for the duration of the battle, or at least until you switch out, you keep that special attack boost. So it just boosts the power of your other moves. Another thing Eternatus has going for it is really its typing. Its typing is very strong. Sure, there are some common things that are good against it, but there are also some things that would otherwise be good against it that aren't. For example, we do not take super effective damage from fairy, even though we are a dragon type, because we resist it with poison, obviously. We resist fighting, which is important. We resist, all the other good typings that dragon resists, such as water, fire, grass, etc., electric. So yeah, just a really well-rounded Pokemon. Just watch out for earthquakes, of course. And my EV spread right here, as you can see on the screen, is meant to just hit as hard as possible. So we're going off of that base 145 special attack stat, which is really, really huge. And with a modest nature, of course, we just hit as hard as possible. And the speed EVs are there to outspeed Jolly Landorus. So Landorus with max speed and a jolly nature hits 157 speed, and I believe this Eternatus with a modest nature and 60 EVs hits 158. So we do outspeed it by 1 point, because of course Landorus is pretty common in this meta and it's a pretty good Pokemon. I think most Landorus, Landorai, they don't really invest that heavily in speed. It kind of depends, but it can. That's why Landorus is so good, because it can run 50 different sets that are all really good. So it gives us a little bit of speed there, and then the rest in HP, because our HP is really huge. It's a 140 base HP stat, which is massive, and then base 95 in both defenses is okay. That's not amazing, but it's also not bad. Complemented by that 140 base HP, that is actually not bad at all. It's pretty solid. So we get to survive a lot of neutral hits. We get to survive a lot of hits against some of the stronger Pokemon in the meta. And of course, we get to fire off some really powerful moves. So just a couple of calcs or things to keep in mind here with Eternatus against some of the common Pokemon in the meta. Outrage from Koraidon does 1-hit KO us with this moveset. However, we are we are Tera Fairy, so if you're up against Koraidon, you're probably going to want to make sure that you can Terastalize, so that you can obviously nullify the Outrage, and then you know, retaliate with some powerful damage. You know, Koraidon typically goes Tera Fire to boost the power of its Flare Blitz. So if it does go Tera Fire, like maybe if it goes Tera Fire and then you switch in Eternatus after that, if you survive a hit from it, you can go Meteor Beam to cleanly one-hit KO it. But also Dynamax Cannon is a really good option. You know, if they do not Terastalize, obviously Dynamax Cannon will kill them. Even if they do Terastalize, Dynamax Cannon does massive damage as well. So we have an okay matchup against Koraidon, and that's kind of how it is with these legends. It's like, you know, you can build it so that you have a good matchup in certain situations. In certain situations, we have a good matchup against Koraidon, but in certain other situations, we don't. But as far as Calyrex, Calyrex also doesn't kill us. Even with Psychic, with these EVs, we actually do survive a Psychic from Calyrex, unless they've gotten a boost, so be careful. Don't let your Pokemon faint against Calyrex, because then it snowballs. And then we can actually one-hit KO with Meteor Beam, I think, or maybe that's after the +1 boost. But Dynamax Cannon also does a lot of damage to Calyrex. So, you know, this is one of those Pokemon where, you know, sure, we can beat some of the best restricted legends in the meta, but mostly this Pokemon's very, very good against most or all of the non-restricted legends in the meta. So if you're tired of using Koraidon, you're tired of using Calyrex, you don't want to try Miraidon, you want to try something different, Eternatus is a very solid option. And I didn't really talk in too much detail about the moves here, but we have Dynamax Cannon, Flamethrower, Sludge Wave, and Meteor Beam. Again, you know, we have two really good stab moves. Dynamax Cannon's a really good move that's exclusive to Eternatus. It's base 100 power, 100% accurate dragon type move, so it's almost as powerful as Draco Meteor, but it never misses and it never lowers your stats, so that's pretty solid. Sludge Wave, you know, of course, good poison type move. Flamethrower's there for coverage to hit steel types, and then again, Meteor Beam's kind of why I built this set for the most part. Finally, we have Tera Fairy here. Fairy's a really good option, I think mostly for Koraidon, because once again, if you go up against Koraidon, they are not going to want to hit you with Flare Blitz. They're not going to go for Collision Course. They're not going to go for Wild Charge. They're probably going to go Outrage, and if you expect them to go Outrage, you Terastalize, and obviously you cleanly nullify the hit, and you get off massive damage on them. Now, keep in mind that the following turn, if they go Tera Fire, they do kill you with Flare Blitz, but they won't kill you if they do not Terastalize, if they don't go Tera Fire. So you can still survive a hit, and basically at that point they probably die to the recoil from Flare Blitz. So again, there are ways that you can kind of beat Koraidon. I guess another option for Tera types could be Tera Normal if you're worried about something like Calyrex. You know, Fluttermane's another good Pokemon in this meta right now, and Normal's just overall a solid typing. Given that you are a poison type, people are probably not going to be throwing fighting type moves at you, so sometimes you can safely go Tera Normal to resist a hit or take an immune hit or take less damage from another hit and get off more damage yourself. So again, the big deal with this Pokemon is that or at least this specific moveset, is that we are not super fast. So you are trying to be smart with when you use your moves, how you use your moves, how much damage can you take, before, you know, retaliating with some massive damage and stuff. And so Eternatus does get access to Recover, so that's another good option as well if you want to try that out. As far as what move to remove, Flamethrower seems really important because otherwise you can't do anything to steel types. If I'm being honest, I haven't really used Sludge Wave that much, but sometimes you will run into some good fairy types, so having that is pretty good. Dynamax Cannon, I guess if you wanted to cut that, you could still handle Calyrex without it, but I don't know. There's some options if you want to cut something for Recover. I guess if you also wanted to cut something for Tera Blast, that is an option too, but personally, this is the moveset that I found to be the best. And I guess as far as team support, you know, Pokemon that you might want to run to support this Eternatus, Speed Control is nice, you know, Sticky Web or Thunder Wave support, or even Tailwind support from Pokemon like Whimsicott. that can be decent, just making sure your Eternatus is really fast. If you are able to do that, if you can make sure this Eternatus is faster than most things, it does become even more of a monster because, again, it already hits really hard and it already has a really good typing. So if you can make it faster than everything else, that can be terrifying for the enemy. Also, ways to improve your ability to take hits can help a lot. You are pretty tanky, but you can make yourself even tankier with stuff like Intimidate from Landorus or Incineroar, Parting Shot from Incineroar or Grimmsnarl, and also Screens from Pokemon like Grimmsnarl or Alolan Ninetales. So those are good pairings as well for Eternatus. And finally, you know, Eternatus does hit really hard, but sometimes it needs that extra little boost to get the damage to finish off the enemy. So, you know, Stealth Rock is always good. Other Pokemon that hit really hard that can help Eternatus, that can get off some chip damage so that Eternatus can come in and finish the job. Those are also good supporters as well. So just good Pokemon all around like Fluttermane or Chien-Pao and Ogerpon. Those are always, you know, those are never bad teammates for any Pokemon. All right, so that is my bulky Eternatus set for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet Battle Stadium Singles. Regulation G, that's a lot to say. But I advise you to try this set out. And of course, I do have a video that I just put out. My most recent battle video does have a team featuring this Eternatus, and I've been liking it a lot. So, you know, I'm looking at ways to improve that team. So if you have suggestions, let me know. But check that video out if you haven't already to see Eternatus in action. And like I said, you can throw together your own team with this Eternatus set and use some of the suggestions that I offered. So thank you very much for watching. You know, please, of course, leave a like and subscribe for more Pokemon Scarlet and Violet videos. And I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you so much. We will talk later.